And you don't say anything. It's
Oh,
hilarious.
I thought you usually start it. That's why.
Come on, go ahead. Say something.
Right. So, are we live now? So
We're live. We're live, and I'm keeping it in. I'm not editing. This is
but perfect. Yeah, we're sometimes unscripted is the best type of podcast, right, guys? But anyways, today we're going to talk about several different things about Pokemon's amazing reveals. Actually, there was one that we're going to talk about that's very big for digital card game fans like myself. So I'll definitely be featuring that on our sister site. And we're going to talk about some upcoming releases, some big, unique stuff. Too bad Steven doesn't have the PC. He would definitely be interested in one game for sure that's out on Monday. But anyways, what do you want to start with? The Pokemon first?
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, sure, might as well.
Right.
I know Steven's going to want to do like a Nintendo Fanboys episode like 100%, but we're beating him to the punch. And to be honest, the Pokemon Day reveals were kind of lame, to be really honest. I mean, yeah, some of the stuff like what you were going to want to talk about, I know is going to be a big deal to a lot of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think overall, like, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not the Pokemon, huge fanboy here, but if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first year in a very long time that there is no new Pokemon game on console or portable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And a couple of reasons. One, I saw some of the comments we have in some about the whole clickbait. Well, it's not necessarily clickbait, guys, when technically it's rumors, right?
People
get so angry about
I know,
that.
it's
not
crazy.
clickbait.
It's like,
and to let
clickbait,
you know,
we got like 47 views. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like it's huge. But anyways, I do understand why people don't like that, because a lot of big content creators do use quote-unquote clickbait just to get people engaged. They see the title or the graphic on there, and it's a strategy, I'm not going to lie. But assuming that the Switch 2's rumors are pretty concrete, we're not going to see it until first quarter 2025. They might be waiting for the next great Pokemon to be launched. They've never done a launch with Pokemon, have they?
No.
That would be an interesting strategy. I don't know if Nintendo would be that bold.
Well, they would do it if it's backwards compatible. So that's what Steven and I were talking about the other day, was like, maybe this is exactly what they're thinking, right? Like, they release. So okay, well, we got to tell people. So I wrote it down because like Steven educated me. So they announced, like, the last big reveal, they didn't even show gameplay. It was just a CG trailer, and it was for Pokemon Legends ZA, okay, which obviously takes place in the same region as X and Y did. That's it. That's all we know. So it's going to most likely be, I mean, if it's part of the Legends series, it's going to be a follow-up. It's probably going to be in the same vein as Legends Arceus, or Arceus, however you pronounce it. And what's interesting is that they say 2025 on Switch systems. Now, people jump the gun and right away, confirmed! You like new Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, guys, there are multiple Switches right now. Nintendo always says, like, will be released on Nintendo Switch systems. They always do that because there's the handheld only mode, you have the OLED version, and the original LCD one. So there's 3 different Switches that exist. So I don't know why people, like, confirmed. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious.
Let's be honest, though. If they had that next game, obviously this is a side game. I think if I remember right, Steven didn't like
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he didn't like it as much as I did. I thought it had some good and unique ideas. So I'm more of an open world fanboy, as you say. I love those kind of crafting open world games. I know that's not for everyone. Now, obviously, the game didn't do a excellent job, because you remember it's Pokemon at the end of the day, so they kind of have to keep their roots. But I would love them to go all out like Power World. But I don't know if they're ever going to do that. Power World's so amazing, so it's obviously got the Pokemon company's attention. So maybe they could mimic on that. I would love, Steven probably going to disagree, or some Pokemon fans will disagree. I would love them to have the mainline series, tried and traditional, of course, refine it, update it, and then a side series like this that kind of mimics Power World's design of more open world crafting type. That would please me a lot, because,
well, I mean, look at I'm going to call it Arceus, guys. That's just the way I call it. I don't know what it's actually called, but whatever. Like, I thought that was pretty unique. Like,
I did, yeah, I liked it.
And I wouldn't mind, like, I'm kind of happy that they announced the Legends one, because it's kind of like, okay, well, they're kind of doing what you're saying. Like, they're two, you have your mainline ones, where they're still doing their own, like, innovating and doing new things. And then with the Legends series, I'm cool with that. Like, if they want to go in a slightly different direction, still keeping the core ideas are still there. I really liked it. I actually really liked Arceus. That was the last one that I did everything, that I got the full Pokedex, everything.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, obviously, and that's one thing I love about Pokemon fans. A lot of them bitch and complain about Nintendo or Pokemon Company refusing to change, but yet they go in droves and line up to buy these games. So it's like, guys, if you want radical change for your series you quote unquote love, stop buying it. That'll get them. Oh shit! What the f? It happened with Zelda. Happened with Pokemon. Stop buying it. Talk with your pocket, your wallet, your bank accounts. Don't just sit there on Reddit and YouTube comments and stuff like that about how much Pokemon Company sucks.
No one will ever do that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, they're never gonna. You have to remember too, and I've told you this 1,000 times, is only the hardcore, the vocal ones, the vast majority of the casual user base for game, they don't go to Reddit. They don't care. They play their games and that's it. So
no, exactly.
The hardcore is just too small of a market.
Something important for everybody that's listening. So I'm not gonna. We're like with Steven, we'll probably do like a full recap on like everything that was announced, type of thing. But I mean, like, that was the biggest kind of news pertaining to like console folks. But you had a game that made you go, oh, what's that all about? So what's that?
Yes, because our sister site. I cover all exclusive. Well, I dabble in other stuff as digital card games, and even now with Disney Locrana, we have a unpacking on the channel, which is a paper version. But let's focus on digital. The digital market is anticipated to grow. Right now, it's 80% paper, 20% digital. So there's a huge discrepancy, right? Paper trading card games dominate that genre, but digital is supposed to be getting bigger now. As of now, one of the most successful digital card games currently is Marvel Snap. It's done a huge amount of stuff. Its first year made 100,000. It beat all the competition, even including like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. We're talking digital only, guys, not paper. Paper just dwarfs what digital does. There's no comparison. But I keep saying Nintendo, they're technically own the 33%. But the Pokemon Company announced Pokemon Pocket, which is based on the Pokemon trading card game, which is huge, guys. Huge paper. It's a paper, actually. Huge game, very popular, very big. And this one modifies. It's kind of going like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel format and stuff like that, where it's a little bit more simplified rules, a lot more faster paced gameplay, which is perfect for mobile. It's mobile only at this time. I don't know if they'll ever release a PC client, which is kind of sad. I prefer PC that, for making videos and that. It's much easier. There's, of course, BlueStacks to emulate, so it's not like I can't. One thing, there's a couple things. I love how if you look at the trailer, look it up. We'll probably maybe put the link into the description. You do like a little cool little like cut thing, open up the packs. It looks like you could be just sitting there eating lunch, and then your phone will notify you got a pack. So they didn't give a lot of details on that, but from what you could kind of base it on, it looks like you'll be randomly getting rewards throughout the day, stuff like that. That's awesome. One thing I love is about interactive art that it has. So it uses the same cards that you got that are out now. So anyone who has it, you'll know your Charizards, Pikachus, you know exactly what they do. You bring it up, you click on it, and it opens up to an interactive where it shows a full-scale art of that card. That is something that I wish Hearthstone and like Marvel Snap and other ones do. Legends of Runeterra does do that as well, but it looks like the Pokemon Pocket's going to even elaborate on that type of format too. So it's going to be different rule sets, faster gameplay, which is excellent for mobile because mobile has to be quick and sweet, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm wondering if Steven's going to be interested. I don't know if Steven likes card games. Does he? I think he's talked about it, but he's never really. So this might be something I could kick Steven's ass in the future, or any of our viewers posted when it comes out. I'll be kicking everyone's butt, or I get my ass handed to me. Either one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that definitely has. some potential, especially considering Pokemon, especially like the Pokemon trading card game is crazy.
It's huge.
Yeah,
Huge. Yeah.
So no, that definitely has potential. For me, I Hearthstone is always fun. I don't have. I'm so friggin' busy that I have to be so selective. Like this was not a good week. This past week, like for gaming and stuff. We didn't even start with that, but did you play anything this week?
Yes, I still continue playing Helldiver. Of course, I do my board games too. But Helldivers, I'm loving that game, man. Guys, it's such a great game. They've ironed out all the server issues right now. They've cracked down on get some bugs in there, so it's been pretty stable. It's like I know how people love to rip companies apart at launch, but hey, us PC folks know about launches, man. They're always pretty bad, pretty buggy. Console players, are kind of lucky because they traditionally release them stable-ish.
It depends.
Yeah.
It's not. I think the days are over.
Yeah, they are.
Of like buying a game and it just like, oh look, it's perfect. Like,
nah, it's the only company I think that's I can't say 100%. Well, Pokemon had a lot of issues, but Nintendo's still their first party games I think are usually pretty.
Yeah. I mean,
they're pretty stable.
Yeah. And I mean, if you do a comparison to like PC, of course, right? Because it's so much easier on console. You only have one SKU. You don't have like a million things to test out. This brings up a very interesting point. It wasn't even on our schedule to talk about. But I was talking with Ahmed about this, and I was curious about your thoughts on this. So I'm sure you've read or seen online that like tons and tons of companies are laying off, like Sony laying off 900 employees, yep. EA doing the same thing, and more and more and more and more and more. And it's really funny because like right now with my software company, I'm spending so much time on looking at all the finances. That's literally what I was doing all day today. I spent the entire day in one spreadsheet doing forecasts and looking at like how many subscribers would it take to do this and that, and then if we had to relay like developers and blah blah blah. And it's really funny that I think back to the PlayStation 3 when The Last of Us came out, and that was It's I can't believe I'm going to say it like this, and I hope people understand when they listen what I'm trying to get at, but I kind of look at that game as like the beginning of the end of what up to that point was kind of like still like this growing, evolving kind of market. But I look at and I love The Last of Us, okay? So don't get me wrong. I'm not this has nothing to do with the game. This is more about the business practice. So I'm going to pause for a sec and do a parallel to when Steven Spielberg made Jaws.
Jaws,
when Jaws came out, it was essentially the beginning of the summer blockbuster. And then Hollywood fundamentally changed from that point forward. And it's never been the same. Ever, like all the way till today, it's just never been the same. And a lot of people argue that it has gotten out of control, right? Like budgets have ballooned to like just sheer lunacy now, where, so many people have to go see the movie in order for it to just break even. And even then, it's like, it doesn't make any sense to have like a $500-600 million budget and, it makes $1 billion in the box office, and it was a moderate success. Like something is wrong with that business formula. And comparing to video games today, this is where I'm heading. I hope people understand the connection. But like The Last of Us was like the true beginning of that, heavy story-driven narrative, hundreds of millions of dollars poured into it. And because it was both critically and commercially successful for Sony, I'm not talking about the whole industry, but for Sony, like, look at the games that they've released after that. And it was like this seismic shift towards those style of games. Even Spider-Man, like, look at Spider-Man. That is not Ratchet and Clank. You know what I mean? Like, that is a hardcore, like, set pieces. That was an expensive game to make. You look at Sly Cooper, right? Sucker Punch. Then they did Ghost of Tsushima, which was brilliant. Again, like one of my favorite games I've ever played. But I'm just saying, like, I think something is wrong with this business model now where, you know, like games have to sell 20 million copies to break even.
To make
like,
yeah.
It's just, like, what do you think of all of this?
Well, you remember when the podcast or two when I said 1 million was the golden mecca for a game? Oh, 1 million copies! Huge success in that. You said right after that's old, man. $1 million, $1 million copies isn't enough for me anymore. And you're right, and it kind of also shows you a couple of things with, like, let's say Helldivers, for instance. It's an indie game technically, but it has a big publisher, and I think it's Sony's most successful PC game, but I don't know what it's on console. It's been a success, but you know, console's a little bit different. So Sony, like I told you, is making a good move on the PC. Obviously, it's never going to be a Microsoft, and I think they know that. But it's their most successful PC game, small indie company. They're just a publisher, right? So I think maybe these big publishers might be more interested in that going forward. Get these nice niche indie games and see what they have, a great product, because that kind of died out for a while. So you remember you remember Tetrasphere on the N64? You remember the story about that Nintendo literally was walking the floor and they saw the game and they liked it and they said, hey, we'll publish it. Now, I don't remember if it was ever a huge hit, but stuff like that doesn't really happen that much with Nintendo or, you know,
anybody.
Yeah, so that's such a rarity, and I love that game. I was a puzzle. I kind of wish they would remake it, but you know, I think that developer's probably long gone. But like stuff like that. Remember Silicon Knights? They were a small indie company. Nintendo embraced them for a while too. So yeah, I'm wondering if these publishers are going to go for these more indie houses and like kind of scale down on the big guns.
I think they don't have a choice, dude.
Yeah, another thing, Power World, a small budget, and look how much it's made. So obviously not every game is going to be that huge, but it's a small indie developer that had, I think, $24 million budget. And look at the numbers it's sold. At the last time, over 22 million users or something. That's insane, Jarrod, for a small indie company.
No, yeah, absolutely. So, but dude, to your point, like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like the fact that Sony this year was like, no new games from us. And I'm like, that's actually, I know people were like, oh my God, and this and that, everything else, but I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good business decision, guys, because right now, like, this is unsustainable. Like, they and when I say they, I don't just mean Sony here, I mean anybody. You cannot sustain this where you have budgets of $400 million for one video game. There's not enough of us. Like, there's just not enough gamers to support those kind of numbers. Now, like what you're saying, space things out. I'm not saying that like these types of games have to disappear, but no. But put them maybe one every 2 years, and then fill the rest of your catalog with A titles, AA titles. But these AAA, you know, like I'm looking at the new Final Fantasy remake, whatever, the second one there that just came out, and like, God, stunning, man. Looking at the commercials and stuff, and I'm like, I cannot believe when you go back and play Final Fantasy VII, the original on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, whatever.
And you know what? You want to laugh? Here, let's laugh, people. It's it's right here, Black Label, baby.
Wow, look at that! It's a blast.
So funny. I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded by my classic.
You remember the prototype pictures we saw of N64 version of that?
Yeah. But yeah, so dude, like that, right? Like, just so this is like a perfect example. Like, that's not sustainable forever. You just can't. You just can't. And look, Final Fantasy 16. Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
16. Like, Square's like, oof, it didn't do well. Yeah, well, dude, you guys spent $100 gajillion on it. It means it needed to sell like 40 million. I'm making this up, but you know, it needed to sell like an absurd amount of copies in order to be successful. And it's like, it's not going to happen. Like,
and that was exclusive to consoles, right?
I believe that was Sony.
Yeah,
Sony probably paid for that.
Yeah, that was a mistake because didn't PlayStation 5 still hasn't sold that great amount of numbers, right? compared to, I mean, now it's picking up traction, but during the lockdown, it was having huge amount of, so you remember too, they might not have I don't know why would they, so I think the exclusive stuff's going away, maybe for consoles like still, but they're going to release day one on the trend now is PC, because the PC market will probably eat some of that,
remember what we said, right? Like last week there, right? With the PC, or the week before, I don't remember. The PC market has crazy like we have to, I don't know how we call it, because it's not the PC market, it's the like home computing market, right? Like yes, 99% are PCs, but desktops are dying. Like that market is dying. So I'm curious, like I'm really curious to see, we talked about this before, but like I'm super curious to see how this goes, because like these games are going to need to be released on mobile devices and other kind of, stream boxes and stuff. Anyway, all this to say that I was really, when I see all these people, I feel so bad for all these developers and stuff that are losing their jobs, when it's like, this was just really bad business. Like it's what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm not going to hire 9 developers, make this thing the greatest thing in the world, but need 500,000 subscribers. Like, never going to happen.
It's not sustainable, man.
No, it's totally not sustainable.
And people look with Disney Plus and stuff like that, in like Netflix, they're not loyal anymore. People just hit pop. Oh, whoa, this show I want to see on Disney Plus. Okay, I'll subscribe for a month. Bam, I'm out next month. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. Oh, that. Okay, I'll go back for that. That's how it is, dude. People are not loyal anymore. The only subscriptions-based system that's actually doing pretty well, has a shit ton of numbers, is actually Game Pass. It's still one of the best values in gaming, but that's different from
and the thing with Game Pass, I mean, we could have a whole discussion on Game Pass, but Game Pass is one of those ones where we don't even know if it's actually sustainable yet. Like we don't know. Like they have a shitload of numbers. Yeah, good for them. But how much, they also paid $500 million for...
It's going to take years for them to...
That's the thing. But I mean, I've said this before, and so have you. Like, I do think that's the direction we're going, is like Netflix for gaming is where I see this. They just got to be like platform agnostic, where they get your damn game on everything.
Yep. What was that physical one where you used to be able to, it was like Netflix for gaming. God, was it Gamefly or something like that?
Oh, maybe.
Remember where they used to send you the CDs and stuff? You used to be able to play. It was a month. I forgot, but they're probably bellied up at this point.
Oh God, all those types of things are belly up. Now, I had another surprise little discussion I wanted to have with you. Something very, very interesting. So I've been playing my Steam Deck, like here and there. This was just a bad week. I just didn't have much time this week. And really love it. Honestly, if I had more free cash right now, I would totally buy the OLED one, just because the battery is terrible in this thing, man. I mean, you can get it down to like 45 minutes on like a deep, powerful PC game, and I'm just like, that kind of sucks. That really sucks. But something interesting, I ordered my dock through Steam on February 18th. Okay? And it was like in stock, ships within 2 to 3 days, something like that. And it hasn't shipped.
Wow, that's weird. Have you called or emailed them about that? What do they say?
Well, they say that the Canadian, like, there's a Canadian backlog. They're like, yeah, we're sorry, we're kind of busy right now.
Oh, that's,
But I'm just like, okay, guys, like that Canadian, like, what? Like, that's one hell of a backlog, man.
Yeah, I would say.
So I'm a little disappointed. That's why I haven't seen anything, because I can't. Well, I mean, I could do the remote stuff, but I didn't want to do that because a little laggy and stuff like that. But Steam, we have a few games you want to talk about, and I want to talk about. So have at it.
All right, first, there's a Steam game coming out, which we've talked about before, but let's talk about, I want to give a proper shout out. It comes out on March 8th, so next week, Unicorn Overlord. Unicorn Overlord is an upcoming tactical role-playing game developed by Vanillaware, so Vanillaware fans should take note. It's published by Atlas. I still love Atlas. They've always been a great publisher of old Japanese RPGs in the past. And in Japan, Atlas, worldwide Sega, so props to Sega. Good to see them pick up a great game. Sega's really just a publisher these days. It will be released on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S on the 4th. So then gameplay it's kind of like a Fire Emblem type thing where you have an over map and you move your units, they attack each other. It's supposed to be story driven as well. I don't know about how story driven, but yeah, I cannot wait for that. This is something I'll definitely pick up on the Switch because that's the only console I have. It's beautiful visuals, and I haven't really played a lot of Japanese RPGs for years because I'm more into Western open world type, like your with the Witcher 3 type games, stuff like that. So, but it's good to kind of go back to your roots, right? So this is something I think everyone should try to pick up if they are interested in. And is that something you would pick up, Jarrod? Or I think
I didn't know about it. For me, it's not a question of, it's a question of time, right? Like it really depends, because the other game that comes out, I'm curious about. I'm really curious about.
Fourth, yes, and this is something that I think Steve would probably enjoy. It's the butcher the name, the Mathadaforge. I think I'm butchering its name. We'll put a link in the description. It's a story-driven RPG with morally ambitious choices taking place in a culturally diverse world of the early 20th century Warsaw. This world is so basically, again, you kind of recruit or capture demons, aka monsters, which fight for you. So it's kind of like Pokemon-esque, but it's nothing like Pokemon. It's
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like that, guys, where it's like, except that it's not anime based. So it looks good. I know that during there was like a beta or something they released. Every new game that comes out, I kind of check out, seeing like, hey, does this play on the Steam Deck? Because I just love sitting on my sofa, being able to play these, man. It's awesome. And there was a if I put Steam, it's gonna screw everything up. Let me check something. Hold on, I got it on my phone. I don't want to screw up our recording, but there was a game that just got released where like you can go through different portals. Where is my wish list? It looked freaking good, man.
Wow, let's see.
It was like Beyond or something. Hold on a sec.
You're looking that up, like back to that thing about non-sustainable, like Suicide Squad, Call the Justice League has not met expectations that we talked about. So that was interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Also, there's some sale going on right now, guys, like Aliens Dark Descent, which is an excellent game. $24.79 USD, 38% off. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, 75% off on Steam, $12.48 USD. I'm going to pick that up because the second one's coming out next month, I think, or this month actually, for PC. We're looking for that. Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn? I heard it's an excellent game.
Yeah, it was an excellent game. That's a great series, man. I can't find this anywhere. What the hell? Why are you being a douchebag? Sort by name. Okay, so there's one game that I really want to try that just looks outstanding, man, called Beneath. Check that out on Steam, because are you on Steam now?
Yes, and then one little shout out too that's coming out later in this month, Outpost Infinity Siege, which is a base building first person tower defense co-op type game. Really looking forward to that. We should do that every week. Our up and coming for the month. I'd love to do. Okay, what is it? Beneath?
Yeah, Beneath.
Who makes that?
Who is this? It's a horror game.
Oh yeah,
Camel 101. Games? Camel 101. Man, it looks freaking good. Like I like the concept where you're trapped underwater. Like it's like a Sega Saturn game that was like, it looks really, really good. and I cannot.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does. We should. You could maybe share your screen to do a video, but or I don't know. We could just put links, I guess.
Where the hell? This is ridiculous. I can't remember what it was called. There was some new RPG that was just released that was pretty sick, and I would play it, but it's not. It's not on. It's not. Well, it's not on. They just say at this time it's not officially supported by Steam Deck.
But it's interesting, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna.
There's some videos of it too. Yeah.
Oh, you're still looking at that?
What else do you want me to look at?
Well, I'm trying to find this game that was just released. It was gorgeous. Like, it was absolutely gorgeous. It's not officially on the Steam Deck, but I wanted to tell people to check it out, but I can't find... If I go to the store... Let's see.
It looks interesting. I didn't know you were into horror games, man. Because,
are you kidding me? Resident Evil, all those, like, dude.
Right. So look at this. I want you to get this as another game. It's actually as a beta on the 15th to 18th of this month. Here, let me pause it.
So you see, last I don't know how you pronounce it. Epoch. That was another one that looked really good.
Oh yeah, that's really good, especially for Diablo type. Look at this one, guys. Level 0 extraction. Just put level 0, 2 words, 0 spelt out. And tell me what you think of this. This is a multiplayer extraction horror with high stakes, asymmetric PvP versus PvE, immersive first-person shooter combat. So basically, anyone who's not familiar with player versus player versus environment, that means you have other humans players you have to worry about trying to kill you usually, right? Player versus player. And you still have NPCs that are just, bots, whatever you want to call it. Player versus environment.
Finally, I found it, dude. I found it.
So this is going to be something I'm really looking forward to. And there's a closed beta starting in a few weeks.
Okay, check out Nightingale.
Oh, dude, Nightingale. I didn't know you were interested in that.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah, that's something. I haven't bought it yet. I was going to buy it day one because I'm kind of waiting for them because I've been playing so much Helldivers right now. So I kind of put it on my back burner. But those type of games I love. It has a bit of a rough, not rough, but it's early access. And they
exactly
need to improve your combat. Right now, it's a little tedious to get, the crafting. But yeah, that Nightingale I think has a huge amount of potential. I'm definitely going to be playing that. Right now, there, Jared, if you like Nightingale, look up Enshrouded. Tell me what you think. That game I would recommend for, especially if you're kind of like a Zelda fan. It's something you would probably. It's co-op too, by the way. They compare it kind of like a Zelda-ish, but not really. It's a co-op survivor action RPG.
What did you just call it? What is it? What?
Enshrouded.
Enshrouded.
This is, if you are interested in Nightingale, guys, Enshrouded is probably the best pick right now.
Cool.
Between the two.
Yeah, I just need more friggin' time, man. That's my only
Yeah, but let
damage.
me know. If you get we have to start playing. If you get those type of games, we'll definitely set up some sessions. We could even do like a podcast of us recording our gameplay, getting our butt kicked, or us kicking ass. That'd be kind of a good change.
Yeah, man. I'm down for anything. I'm easy, man. I'm easy.
So yeah, those are some stuff to look forward to, guys. Yeah, we got to start doing that every podcast. Like, I know by the time people watch the podcast, it might be old news, but some of the stuff's a few weeks ahead. So by the time you see this next Saturday, which is a week from
yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? Like, I'm going to see what to do. I've been thinking about that, of like release schedules and stuff like that. It really depends because like today I was not supposed to, but I wanted to record some gameplay features and, get a review out or something. But this is the only thing. It's like when I have a week like I had this week, there's no way.
Yeah,
the time is done. But this coming week is supposed to be better. So I'm hoping I have some time to do that. And I'm gonna try and see. I haven't tested this. I want to test this iMac. I really want to test it because I have Parallels. So with Parallels, I can install any game on Steam.
Oh yeah, you can, yeah.
So I want to test this. I want to see like how strong is this? Like when you put it through its paces, or is it gonna melt and explode? I'm curious.
And what other game is coming up this month, which is...
I'll check out Enshrouded. I'll check that out.
Oh yeah, Enshrouded, especially if you're interested in like Nightingale. Because Nightingale's, no disrespect, I'm going to be playing it very soon. It's just I've been hooked on
what do we got?
Helldivers, guys. And if you guys want to join us on Discord, just join, and we have the link in the description. Okay, Princess Peach Showtime. What about that? That looks interesting. And obviously, it's branded towards the younger audience, but it looks like it's just a fun, mindless, fun type game. Is that something that Mighty Jarrod was considering, or
I'm not considering it? It's for me, honestly, it's nothing's even. It's not even a question of considering. It's more like for real. Like, do we have time? If we got time, like, let's go, man. Let's go.
Oh, and one of the biggest shutouts, totally off the script. Well, this whole thing's unscripted. Finally, yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2, guys. Pick that up, especially if you're a fan. That's coming out. Here, let me get the date. It's coming on PC at day one. Let's go. No more of the days of having to wait. It's over. It is out on the 22nd. So about, approximately a little over 2 weeks or so, or actually less than 2 weeks, or about 2 weeks. Capcom took 10 years to make the sequel. The first one's excellent. And I have it on Switch,
here,
by the way.
If you see a little fur.
Oh, hey, little kitty.
Oh, here he goes.
Did you ever play the original? Oh, how cute.
He's so funny.
He's get a ham. Look at that guy. I want attention.
What is happening? He's like,
taking up. There he goes.
Oh, perfect.
Did you ever play the original Dragon's Dogma, Jarrod? And if you did you like it? Are you going to get part 2?
I honestly don't. You said 10 years ago? Oh my god, dude, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know. I know the name is familiar, but I honestly...
I think it was a Xbox exclusive, right, at first, or something like that. Now it's been released on every platform known, Switch, PC, PlayStation, but I think it was one of original... was it? I think it was a chat, correct me wrong, but if I remember right, I think it was an Xbox exclusive back in the day. But yeah, it's an action RPG, but it's kind of Souls-like, where it's very challenging. You'll get your face ripped off if you challenge some stuff when you're not ready.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And everyone and their mother played. What was the newest one of those Souls-type games? What the hell? Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah, that's been a huge hit. Those Soul games are huge. A lot of Soul games are not really my cup of tea.
Me neither, man. I'm going to get destroyed and...
It's like... Because I don't mind a challenging game. Don't make it a cakewalk. I don't like it where it's tediously thing, where it's just muscle reflex, where you just have to learn the encounter, dodge. That's not fun to me. Make it more interactive. I mean, it is interactive. Don't get me wrong. You have to really be good at the thing. But I don't like tediously challenging games, because the only reason it's challenging is because they make the boss one-shot you, right? That's not really challenging to me. But I think Dragon's Dogma is kind of like you're a little bit of a middle ground. Now, like Monster Hunter, I love. Now, Monster Hunter's kind of Souls-like, where if you're not paying attention, you have to dodge. That's fine, but at least with that, it's kind of a little bit better with co-op design. And Monster Hunter Wild's coming out next year, which I'm really looking forward to. We'll have to do some podcasts to that, because I think Steven is into. No, I don't think so. Where is he? I can't remember. Steven will have to tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I don't remember. actually. I don't know. God,
anyways,
it's so funny. Grabbing this game, I'm looking up here, and it's so funny. Dragon Warrior 7, Dino Crisis, Fear Effect. I had so much hope for Fear Effect. That was, and then they went into like the whole like hypersexualization stuff, but I loved those backgrounds, man. The way they had looped the background so that like you'd have like a lamp and it would be like swinging back and forth, and you saw like, bugs flying up to it. Only thing that kind of sucked for the tech back then was like it would pause for a second and then re-loop the same thing over and over and over. But it was still like so original. And I know they tried for years to bring it back. And I think they actually did bring it back, but I don't think it did what it was supposed to do. Let me see something here. Fear Effect. Let's see. Yeah, so here, Fear Effect Sedna was released in 2018. There you go.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it looks similar. Oh, no. See, no, not at all. Okay, it's a strategy game. Like XCOM.
I'm thinking of. I'm looking at Dune Awakening. It's another survival game that's going to be out. I'm going to be seeing Dune 2 tonight, so I'll let you know next week, guys, what I think about it. Did you ever see the first movie? It was really good.
I thought. Yeah, I did. I haven't seen. Well, obviously, I haven't seen the second one, not yet, anyway. But let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know how it is.
Oh yeah, I will. The first one was good, and then yeah, man, Banishers, the Ghost of New Eden's out. It's supposed to be really good. It looks something I want to get. There's just too many games, not enough time, man. But yeah, Outpost Infinity Siege, I'm going to definitely play that this month. Beneath, thank you for that, by the way. It looks very cool. I didn't know you were into these type of horror games, dude.
Yeah, man. Like, you're so funny. Like, Fear Effect, Resident Evil, like the original horror game.
Oh,
like,
yeah, but true, but I didn't know you kept up with it because, that's kind of a classic, right? Because I know you're pressed for time.
Well, dude, so what I do with Steam is anything that looks interesting, like I'll see the trailer, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool, add it to your wish list, and then some of these games, man, they go like 90% off, and then I'll just be oh yeah, okay, here, click, there you go, done.
Here, did you ever like the Pikmin games?
Yeah, sure.
So look at this on Steam. This is something that comes out next month. It's not this month, but the demo's out now, guys, and this is something that looks very intriguing to me. Odd Sparks, an automation adventure, and this is kind of, you can tell it uses inspiration from Pikmin. So yeah, the demo's out if you ever want to check it out. This is something I think would be right up your alley.
Yeah, no. So there's lots of stuff this week. There's lots of stuff because I do want to try the Thaumaturge or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes,
and I also want to try Contra. Contra's in I think Contra's in 2 weeks.
Dude, is that my wish list at the end? Oh, dude, that's a blast. And I love those.
Yeah, and you should try it, man. The demo is available on Steam. I mean, why the hell not? It's fun.
Another game that's coming up, guys, that used to be a Google Stadia. Is it whatever?
Yeah,
game?
Yeah.
Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Champs. It's been announced for PC. I cannot wait for it. It's kind of like a battle royale where it's was it how many Pac-Man? 64 people, so think like F-Zero 99, and stuff like that, or Tetris 99, except for 64. You guys battle out, you have your own grids, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll definitely be playing that. But Namco just announced, thinking of sustainability, they announced that they're cutting some games coming up. They didn't announce which. I hope this is not one of them, but I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of this in the coming weeks and months, unfortunately, because I think people, like, as an industry, I think it's bit off a little bit more than it can chew, and it's going to be very interesting. And now, if the rumors are all true, and Nintendo is indeed delaying the Switch, the sequel to the Switch, or Switch 2, whatever the hell you want to call it, into next year, it's going to be an interesting year for games. If Sony has no new games, and Nintendo is like winding down, and Microsoft seems to be taking forever to release anything. Like, I was thinking of this the other day. I was like, they were trying to have Halo as like this, perpetual platform game thing, and then they just totally scrapped that idea. And it's funny because, like, ever since Bungie left, they just cannot get Halo back into the pedigree of what it was, and it's so weird. It's just so weird. And it's like Gears. Gears is another one. Like...
Yeah, exactly. And I think because those were some great games, especially Gears. Matter of fact, I have to play it on Game Pass because I never finished the other ones. But I think the problem with this, especially with IGN saying that live service games should take note from Helldivers, and I agree with that, because right now Helldivers, you can unlock everything by just playing the game, including the premium currency. You have to go hunt for the coin and get it. Stuff like that is what they should do. If you have the people, the whales they call them, the ones that are impatient, could invest in the battle pass, get it ASAP, or the free-to-play well, it's not a free-to-play game, but you could grind it. And I think that's hopefully a trend that I hope to see come, because one of the problems with quick divert to like MMOs is, like, MMOs used to be, you remember World of Warcraft? Yeah, of course, you remember World of Warcraft.
Yes.
You used to be able to farm gear, you used to, for transmog, for cosmetics, you used to go get these elusive mounts that were extremely hard to get. Of course, they have the cash. They've kind of moved towards that. But there was a lot of in-game goals, unofficial achievements, if you want to call it, that you could work and keep you countless hours invest in the game. Now, like New World, its core is great. I love its combat. It does a lot of great things, but the problem is it's a tedious, boring end game, and everything awesome is armor that you buy from. It's all cosmetics and pay to win that you could buy on the shop, rather than doing achievements like let's just kill a million skeletons and you get this awesome bone armor set, stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. And the problem is, the reason I bring this up, and I think this is why I hope developers get a wake-up call, especially all these indie companies kicking ass, is make your game fun, unique first, and then think about monetization. Companies like Microsoft, Blizzard especially, they're notoriously lost right now. Oh, what can we do? Ooh, how can we rip people off? Oh yeah, let's charge. But what about fuck the game? We're Blizzard. They'll buy it because they're dumbasses. And I'm not exaggerating, guys, because this, obviously they still overall do a great product, but this is what their big wigs. They just sit there. Let's get all this money. Forget what your fan base is about, what they want. Like Blizzard's not a mobile company, but they're trying to get in the mobile market, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But they shouldn't alienate what their tried and true fans are. And it's just these big conglomerates. They just want quick, easy bucks. They want to get that piece of pie, what's been successful in the past. I don't know. I think they just too focused on making money, which is reality for every company. Let's make no mistake. But I think they need to focus on what's important, is making a great product, and then everything there goes afterwards. And
dude. I mean, absolutely. We were all over the place today with this podcast, but but it's true. And I'm thinking, like, I really do hope Microsoft this year, they have a really good opportunity to sway public opinion in their favor here. But man, they got to do a better job of managing and getting games out. Like, I was watching David Jaffe. I like his YouTube where he just complains about everything. It's really funny. But he's right. Like, they're not doing a good job of managing. They got good initiatives and stuff like that, but something is wrong when, you can F up your star franchises with an S, like one after another. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
And it's hard to say, right? Management's difficult. Like, you either hire the right people, and that's a problem when you have too many quote unquote chefs in the kitchen too. And like I said, maybe it comes down to the fact that these companies just don't care about product anymore. It's like Hollywood with most of the movies are just utter crap. Mark Hamill said it best. He says, when they were interviewing about one of those Star Wars, he goes, the movie doesn't need to be good. It needs to make money. And that's a very true thing you could say about games, right? People, I hope people speak with their wallets, because it'll drive change a lot more than anything. And these companies just want the quick buck. I mean, developers don't want to make a bad game, guys. That's not their intention. But the problem is when you have mismanagement, aggressive microtransactions, it just,
We can circle back. So we can circle back to, like, the beginning. Like, there's a reason why Sony just laid off 900 people, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot, by the way.
Think of the studios that are gone now. Like, Japan studio's gone. London studio, they're closing now. These are think of the franchises that you have lost over the years.
Yes,
when you think of, like, Patapon and cute little goofy games that they were so good at making. And I think back now and I'm like, Sony has really become the single player, story driven, set piece, multi-gajillion dollar, like, games company. Like, that's what they do. The problem with that is that it's completely not sustainable for the long term. And I'm hoping that this does a little bit of a wake-up call, but I don't see how, because they're closing all these studios where, they need to wake up and start going back and giving us, like, these Helldivers type thing, where you have these games that are not as crazy budgets and whatever, allow a little bit of experimentation and whatnot, and then, yes, of course, still have what makes you who you are, like these big, huge tentpole releases, but like, don't give us 3 Last of Us in one, in one cycle. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm actually happy that Ghost of Tsushima isn't out. Like, I'm happy about that because I'm hoping that Sucker Punch can take their time and go, just take your time. It takes you 5 years, 6 years, whatever. But then creativity's got to come into it too, right? Like, think of it. This is the company that made Sly Cooper. And, there's still that soul is still there. And it's like, now you're only going to be allowed to pump out these AAA, unbelievable stress, working with, hundreds of developers all over the world. Neil Druckmann was actually talking about that with The Last of Us Part 3, where he was like, this is pretty much going to be my last game of this caliber. Because he was like, you can't imagine the stress. And I sit there, I'm like, yes, I can. I can totally imagine what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
What that's like. And it's like, can you imagine that's your whole career? Just one after. It's like, oh, thank God we finished. Nope. All right, get back to work. We need another.
Yeah. It's amazing, come to think of it, because of all these years we bitch about Nintendo, but they are the masters of this. They've been doing this from day one. Minimal investment costs for maximum gain. They keep all their budgets extremely low, and we bitch about it. Why aren't they like the competition? But at the end of the day, they're the richest company in Japan right now with $11 billion in the bank with 0 debt. That's unheard of, guys, for modern companies. Mm-hmm. So they're obviously doing something right. Obviously, look how successful. They're the masters of this, though, man. They keep everything. Remember, they even told like their second part, like what was it, the Silicon Knights or something. Like, they kept pressuring us to bring down costs. We wanted to do this, but Nintendo's like, no. Can you bring the cost down? So Nintendo knows what they're doing. Now, obviously, they're not for everyone, but they're definitely the masters of keeping. And this is something that a lot of companies need to kind of, I think, going forward to keep keep themselves alive, right?
Yeah, I'd be really curious because I know nothing of this. I'd be really curious to know, like, because that's the business side, and then there's the actual work side. And I'd be really curious to know, like, how's the culture, I mean, in Japan, it's quite a bit different than it is here, but I would be not surprised. I'd be curious to know, like, how is the actual, work environment, because here, I know it's gotten, like, completely out of control. Like, it's gotten nuts. And so, laying off all these people, I don't see Sony in particular changing overnight, but they're going to need to. Everyone is going to need to, because COVID really affected a lot of things. Like, I know that Sony and Microsoft, they're going to want new hardware out to reinvigorate the market, because they lost basically 2 years of manufacturing. Like you were saying, Sony's wasn't a question of sales. It was a question of accessibility. They couldn't get the damn chips and everything like that. So rumors are saying that there's going to be a PS5 Pro, but what for? Like, right now, PlayStation and Xbox, to be frank, they haven't even started the next generation. Because you keep making games for the last generation. So I read a really interesting article about that, basically saying how, like, we barely even began. Like, we don't know what a PS5 and an Xbox Series X can even do. Because they keep having to code it so that the lowest common denominator can play it. And it's true. Like, I was actually going through and I was looking at the games that are like 100% exclusive to the hardware. And my goodness, man, there's only like a handful of games that are actually exclusive to the platform, which makes you think, then what's the point of the hardware?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thinking about PlayStation, the Helldivers made me link up PlayStation Network account. So it's been years. I have PlayStation 3 is the last one. So I'm like, fuck, what's my account that I use? So I made a new one. But I was like, I think it's this old email address I don't use anymore. I went there, logged in, reset the. Oh shit! I have $25 credit. It's been sitting there since PlayStation 3 error. I'm like, wow. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't really use PlayStation, but now going forward, I guess I could go back to my old account, but who cares? $25 isn't that much. But
exactly.
I don't know what I would use that for on the console. I'm assuming, right? And they're not getting the console.
Exactly. Okay,
I
guys.
got $25.
We're gonna wrap up, but that I know we were all over the place today, but that's because that was one of these types of weeks. But next week, we got. I'm really looking forward to next week because both of us are gonna try that game.
Oh yes, and we'll see what we think about it because I want your first impressions, my first impressions.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I'm going to be playing on the Steam Deck, so I don't know. We'll see if it's compatible, right? Like we'll see.
It doesn't say anything on the Stormfront page about it, so
but,
it might be.
I watched videos and people were saying it was already working in the beta they had or whatever. So
okay, good.
They were like the one that's not is the what is it called? The one you were surprised that
the thing of Forge.
No. What was it? Oh, I can't think of the name. The
Nightingale.
Nightingale. Thank you. That one.
Yeah,
that's not yet. No, not yet. The developer acknowledged that you can force it, but they're like because there's like a proton layer that you can force it, and it works really good. To be honest, I'm playing Siberia right now, and it's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you get Nightingale or Enshrouded.
Well, Nightingale, I'm going to wait. Nightingale, I'm going to wait because I want to wait for the official patch to come out that'll allow it to work. But I do know that the that comes out this week, that on Monday
will work.
Yeah, that will work. Okay, Tim.
Yeah, we'll definitely play some co-op with Nightingale and Enshrouded. But yeah, we'll be back next week with some recaps.
Yeah, take care, everybody.